The Department of Health is trying to establish the extent of the practice of women travelling to the UK for termination following a diagnosis of a fatal fetal abnormality and then returning to Ireland to deliver their stillborn babies. In a confidential letter seen by RTE's Primetime, the master of the Rotunda Maternity Hospital warned of the potential for adverse publicity should something go wrong in one of the cases.
James Burke and his wife travelled to Liverpool in 2011 to have a termination after learning their first child had a fatal fetal syndrome. James is campaigning for a change in legislation.
Our child had no hope whatsoever of surviving outside the womb. It could have been minutes, it could have been hours, but she definitely wouldn't have lived for very long. We also have been aware of many couples who've chosen to carry on with the pregnancy, and as a campaign group we fully believe that that's their right to choose that.
The master of the Rotunda Maternity Hospital says in some cases women are returning to Ireland to have a stillborn delivered here after having an injection administered in England to stop the heart of the fetus. In a confidential letter seen by Primetime, Dr. Sam Coulter-Smith alerts the Chief Medical Officer to the practice. He says it's something that has started to happen with increasing frequency, and he warns about the potential for adverse publicity should something go wrong in one of the cases.
A person has travelled for a service, put at its crudest, a service that is lawful in another state. They have availed of that service in another state. They have a constitutional entitlement to do so, and they're now looking to simply return to the country. So I don't see that there could be a legal obstacle to doing so.
Pity that over the course of the last year, every time fatal fetal abnormalities or lethal malformations are mentioned, they're mentioned in the context of abortion. And I don't think the message is getting out to the Irish public that there is another alternative, and that alternative is perinatal hospice care.
In a statement, the Department of Health said the Chief Medical Officer is working to establish the extent of the practice. It said his initial soundings appear to show that the practice hasn't been identified in every maternity service in the country, but it's too early to say if it's just confined to the Rotunda. Diane Connor, RTE News at the Department of Health in Dublin.